The Johannesburg mayoral spokesperson, Mabine Seabe, joins me now for more on this. Mr. Seabe, good afternoon. Welcome to Today on eNCA. It's not looking good at all for this coalition that the DA has formed, with the minority parties now taking aim at the mayor, Dr. Phalatse, after succeeding with that vote of no confidence against the Speaker, Vasco da Gama, last week.
Well, the multi-party coalition at provincial level released a statement today confirming their support for the executive mayor and the multi-party government here in Johannesburg. So we're confident that this multi-party government will finish its electoral term in 2026. And we must see this campaign by the minority opposition bloc as firstly as a disinformation campaign, as well as a campaign to grab and capture the city of Johannesburg. It doesn't bode well for them ahead of elections in 2024 that this government is in fact advancing service delivery programs. And also we are closing the taps on corruption. At the last sitting of council, it was announced that a lifestyle audit will be done on all council members as well as senior management in the city. And of course, many will struggle to justify the deficit between the lifestyle that they live and the salary that they earn. So this is part of a campaign to grab the city back and also to disempower this government. But the Executive Mayor, Councillor Phalatse, and the multi-party government are at work, entities are at work, and we're delivering services despite the cries of this minority opposition bloc.
So are you saying they are doing all of this because there's an investigation into their lifestyles which might expose corruption or wrongdoing?
That's among other things. I mean, it was never believed that a nine-party coalition would be able to pass a budget, which we did, and that budget has come into effect on the 1st of July. And already residents are starting to see and feel a different city. And where the gaps exist, we are engaging very closely with those communities and residents. As announced, the executive mayor will be in Soweto on the 10th of September to attend to that particular matter. But aside from Soweto, the executive mayor and her members of the mayoral committee are out in communities. For the first time, residents are starting to see and feel a government that actually listens to them. And this was never expected from a nine-party coalition, yet here we are doing what needs to be done. And unraveling a corruption network that exists in the city and ensuring that city officials do the jobs that they're passionate about, that city officials do the jobs that they've been hired to do.
You said you are confident that this multi-party coalition will govern the city of Joburg until the next elections in 2026, the local government elections. You were confident last week. I saw the reports I saw that Vasco da Gama will remain as Speaker. How confident are you that Phalatse will remain as Mayor?
Well, we must see that in the context in which Councillor da Gama was removed from his speakership. There was money that was exchanged hands, and political parties went today to file an affidavit at the Hillbrow SAPS to detail the money that exchanged hands. Coalition partners have made commitments to remove those councillors who acted with malfeasance and accepted bribes. We are sure that come the next council of sitting from the multi-party coalition, we'll be able to elect a Speaker of Council, and the multi-party coalition will also again reaffirm its commitment to the Executive Mayor, Councillor Phalatse. So we are not shaken by this. The only thing that we are shaken about is the fact that the minority opposition bloc would want to distract the residents of Johannesburg and also interrupt the important work of council of practicing oversight over the executive. The multi-party opposition bloc have not been able to point to exact cases where they say that the mayor has been in dereliction of her duties. In fact, the executive mayor has gone above and beyond to ensure that this coalition stays together and that the entities and departments that are charged with service delivery do that work.
Are you, as the DA, marginalizing minority parties in council?
Minority parties have not been marginalized. Members of the coalition have not been marginalized. In fact, for the first time when the budget was being consolidated, there was extensive consultation with those who aren't even part of the multi-party coalition to ensure that ward by ward we're able to address the shortcomings, service delivery shortcomings in those communities. Whilst this budget is one that was approved and voted for by the multi-party coalition, for all intents and purposes, it is the budget of the entire council because those consultations took place with everyone.
So how are you planning? You've said you're confident that the Phalatse will survive any attempt by the minority parties, the opposition parties, to remove her. You said the multi-party coalition has issued a statement today reiterating its support for Phalatse. So how are you going to approach Friday? Let's say Friday. I understand that the plan to table this motion of no confidence on Friday. How is the DA going to protect Phalatse?
Well, it's not about the DA alone here. It's about the multi-party coalition in its entirety. And we must also correct the misinformation that has been put forward, that there's an acting Speaker of Council. There is no acting Speaker of Council as we sit here today.
I was going to come to that.
Because stewardship of Council
sorry, Mpesi, I was going to come to that, Mr. Seabe, but let's come to that separately. For now, just tell me how confident are you? What are you going to do to protect Phalatse from this motion of no confidence that's coming?
The multi-party coalition is on the same page that Councillor Phalatse is the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg and will remain in that office until 2026. Not because she's well-liked, but because she's doing the job of an executive mayor in a multi-party government. She's holding the center together. She's ensuring that services are delivered to communities across the city, especially those that have been unserviced and underserviced over the last couple of years.
Okay, let's come back to the speaker issue now. Vasco da Gama is out, and there was a lady saying that she's the acting speaker. What happened there?
The laws of council and the standing rules of council are very clear that when there's a vacancy that exists in the instance where there's a motion of no confidence that has passed, and a speaker or an acting speaker must be appointed from members of council. Such an election has not taken place. Therefore, the stewardship of council lies with the secretary of council, and the next sitting of council must be called by the city manager, where a speaker of council will be elected. And that must be done as soon as is reasonably possible at the next sitting.
When would that be?
The next sitting of council takes place at the end of this month, and we will be able and will be ready to elect a speaker of council from members of the coalition.
Okay, thank you very much for your time and clarifications. That's Mabine Seabe speaking on behalf of the Joburg Mayor's Office. The Mayor, of course, now facing a potential vote of no confidence by minority parties. We'll have to watch this space. And the Speaker of the Council yet to be replaced after Vasco da Gama lost that seat last week in a vote of no confidence in Council.